Hello everybody, what is up and welcome to a Tuesday video. So whilst Marvel Contest of Champions is going through the typical meh summer where there's not really much on, there's stuff that's going on, there's bugs, there's problems and a whole lot of heat around the world, I thought it was possibly a good time to do an updated puzzle video. Now previously in my puzzle video, this is what it looked like. And this is what it looks like now. You might be thinking some of that looks exactly the same. It doesn't. There's a few changes that are actually more important, and especially with new champions coming in, it does change things slightly. Some have got right, some have got wrong. And also just the continuation of some of those question marks where we've got to find solutions to problems. Like putting a gigantic Adam Warlock in a place that I have no idea if that's going to work, but by golly, we're going to make it work, aren't we? Now, let's get down to work. Gilgamesh and Kingo are two characters, I think, with the Eternals coming this year and the Eternals event, which, if you haven't seen the interview with Gabriel Frazero, which you're going to be referencing a few times, JAX and XN, you'll know that there's going to be an event. So, it does mean that they've got to put at least two of those champions in. As I said, my personal thought that it is going to be those two, just because it just makes sense, and I would predict a challenge of some kind coming, like a celebrity challenge, but we shall see what happens later on. Next iffy one is, I don't think this is going to be it, but I'll put it out there that I think Warpath would be a good fit for this, especially to add a bit more diversification into the mutant line, but as well to kind of have something in there that's kind of OG, but also kind of like fits well. I just think that would be good to put Warpath in there. I also think that it will be good to look into the tech line, and I've got this big feeling that we're going to see more tech champions, especially if next month we'll see the likes of Penny Parker. Then let's face it, we're going to see more tech champions in. Unless it's a weird reason that Kabama found to make it a science, which, let's face it, a lot of the times that does seem to be the case. But that's what I'm thinking, like Nimrod, a great tech. That'd be a fantastic idea. Expand that kind of universe. Bring in a Mega Sentinel at a later date. It works well. Boom! Adam Warlock right there. If you have not followed the interview, as I said, it is a great interview that gives you a lot of information. And I do think that Adam Warlock would be a good fit in here. I don't know what exactly it will be the kind of the reasoning for him being in there. What he's going to... his purpose is going to be, who he's going to be allied to, who he's going to take on, because we haven't got the likes of Galactus, unless we're going to have like some sort of like amazing super war with Thanos coming up. You know, that's really the thing, what his story will be coming in. Because like, hey, you can say bring the champion in, but what's the story going to be about? As this dude has taken on some of the biggest and baddest Marvel characters, I would expect big things from what it's going to be and should be one of the most powerful characters you can bring into game, which is always very concerning because a lot of us feel that Kabam at times do not do characters justice, especially from what you see in game. But I digress, moving onwards and upwards, and especially kind of looking to reshape the way that I did this before in the way that this is like presented. So before I had a load of kind of like Marvel Contest of Champions things in the older version, which looked a little bit like this prior to the release of Purgatory and as well Overseer, which kind of makes sense as to what we've seen recently with Overseer being in there. Hercules is now released, the same thing with America Chavez, more on that in a second, and as well Purgatory being in there, so that makes sense. The two new champions for next month I've got just like here. Funny enough, you know, Spider-Man 2099, I had faith because I am a big fan of that particular build of like character. I love the character of Spider-Man 2099. It's probably one of the only ones that I like apart from Peter Parker, but then after a time you're just going to go, oh right, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, thumbs up, Spider-Man 2099, thumbs up, good. Penny Parker right up there. And also, as I've said before, I feel that with, I think even the interview, Gabriel Frazero hinted at something to do with the villains of Shang-Chi. So when the movie comes out, I have this really strong suspicion we're going to see Death Dealer right there, and as well the Mandarin, which is right there. I think they're going to be two really good characters to bring into this game. Now, what of this America Chavez thing, this theory that I have, and the changing of theory, because I did have Kate Bishop as the replacement or the option here, but I now have replaced it with America Chavez. But at the same time, it could be a red herring. Their association is the West Coast Avengers. The West Coast Avengers sees Gwenpool, Kate Bishop, as well as America Chavez and a whole plethora of other characters. Some that still have not been entered into this game as potential options to indeed be that question mark filler. And even if it is America Chavez filling out that question mark next to Gwenpool, there's still a possibility we'll see Kate Bishop, especially riding off of the hype of the upcoming TV series. Although with Kabam's track record when entering in these type of characters based on TV shows, it's not particularly great. So don't hold your breath on that one. So we'll stick with America Chavez for the time being. Up to the top now, I'm still going with that Hyperion story, that Shang-Chi beat Hyperion when it came to getting the Phoenix Force. We've got Wiccan down here, which I'm still always very strong on. I'd love to see if that was a character entered in at least this year. We've got Silver Centurion over here. Makes sense because, yeah, no, this is linking off from Iron Man down there. And right at the top, okay, so I am sticking strong with this particular link. There is one question mark that's associated from going to the left of the Black Panthers. Now, what the hell this could be is still up in the air. But I feel that because Kabam haven't done the commemoration of Chadwick, which they said they would, I feel that there must be something, coming in place. Maybe not for August, because he unfortunately passed on the 28th of August, and there must be something because the champions have been sort of announced for August that they must be doing for September. My hope is indeed that. But let's face it, it's been a year now, and we haven't even had anything kind of mentioned of kind of like a buff for this, unless they're keeping it secret, or maybe they'll put it in for the Septembers as a mark of respect, so to speak. I can't believe it's going to be a year next month when it's been a year since the passing of Chadwick. We just watched, myself and Em, 21 Bridges. Must recommend. It's a great film, especially because at the time he must have been suffering through a lot of pain and just kind of delivering the best role he possibly can, or best delivery that he can do, and it is great. It's a great film, worth checking out. J.K. Simmons is in it, as well as a whole plethora of other cast members. Taylor Kish is in it, and he's great in it as well. Give it a watch. I think it's on Amazon Prime at the moment, and there must be some other places. But yeah, go and pick it up. It's a great film. Now moving swiftly on. At the top, Odin makes perfect sense. Mangog makes perfect sense. We've got Super Skrull over to the right of Skrull. Makes sense. Now, here is the big revelation and the big thing that made me go, this is got to be Monica Rambeau. And it makes a lot of sense when you look at it. Or it means that Kabam are completely red herring here, and we're looking at this going like, we have no blinking idea that this is going to be the character. But it does make sense. How and why? Firstly, Monica Rambeau has associations with Captain Marvel, and as well has come into contact with the Skrulls. So it does indeed make very much perfect sense. I really can't believe I forgot to kind of look into this or deep dive this properly last time, but I think I was so transfixed with the idea of Iron Lad being that new big boss that is going to be potentially ending either Act 7.3, Act 7.4, and be this next setup for something of a time-traveling Kang that's going to be overthrown by Nathaniel Richards and other stuff. If you've seen Loki, a lot of times you look at the MCOC stuff, you go, all of this weird things actually makes perfect sense for the multiversal stuff, and as well some other things that happened with the Kangs and the various different variants. Yes, I totally understand what is going on. This also makes further sense when a comic book tie-in actually, links Kang as well. With this here, for whatever reason, Kang is able to separate the shadow minion from its host. He sends the black monster into the sun, where it is destroyed, and the host is revealed as Monica Rambeau. Our first Captain Marvel is quick to attack Kang, seeing as how she recognized him as one of the Avengers' worst villains. However, after he and the other members of the team explain exactly what's at stake, Monica understands that the circumstances are dire, and that desperate times call for desperate measures. So yeah, there's actually an association there based on Kang saving the day, or saving Monica's life and stuff. It is absolutely crazy, but let's face it, comic books do be crazy. But there gives you that link between Kang, the question mark, Skrulls, and Captain Marvel, Monica, boom, Rambeau. And unfortunately, it's not really that exciting to finish off with, because a lot of stuff is just either logical ones or ones that I'm sticking with. There could be a load of different options opened up, but with the likes of Mr. Negative being in the game. This link between that synergy question mark, which definitely could lead to the likes of Anti-Venom, and as well Sandman being predicted, or no, explained that it will be coming into the game at some point by Gabriel Fazera. It does open up a whole lot of options. Do bear in mind that even though I've got Psycho Man here, I have this sneaky suspicion Kabam are red herringing it. And do bear in mind a lot of these question marks are subject to change. When Kabam do an updated version of this, what they'd like to do is then they add in champions into spaces and then put random question marks by them. That makes you think, oh, that's meant to be there. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, they've gone to the other side. So Kabam do like to red herring, so a lot of people don't get an idea of what could be coming into the game, because anything I predict, it may not happen. Like, I'm thinking that Monica Rambeau thing is like a dead cert. It is a lock right there. But then Kabam could say like, oh, it's our made up character this, and then all of a sudden you're there like, oh, God's sake. But in any case, moving on and finishing off with, I think this is Star-Lord, the different version of Star-Lord, or is it Nova or something? It's the, we said last time, it's the one Herald of Galactus that Silver Surfer had a romantic relationship with. I'd love to see it. It'd be great. Galactus is there, unplayable. Don't think it's going to be a boss character to face off against, but weirder things have happened with this game, like Dormammu being in with the game. And I think that's really it. There's not really a huge amount of changes, but I feel there are some strong new changes that I feel quite strongly in, especially when it comes to with the positioning of some of the Spider-Verse, the way that Purgatory and some of the others come in place. America Chavez being an option to replace the likes of Kate Bishop, which I said would probably be a thing that would happen. But there needs to be more tech champions in order to facilitate what is lacking. And that's just the thing with some of these question marks. There could be some big changes. I would say that Kabam will probably change, put out a new State of the Battle run very, very soon. It's going to come and it's going to happen at a very weird time. I suspect as soon as I've got this video out, later on today or sometime this week or next week, you'll probably see an updated one, and I'll have to regress into my bow to try and find out who the bloody hell is in the different bloody question marks. But it's fun. It's fun to do a little bit of detective work and then find that I get everything wrong, but maybe a couple right at the same time. Either way, that has been the video. Who do you think is in some of the various different question marks? Have a lovely day. And also check out some of the recent content posted on screen right here. Have, as I said, a lovely day and a lovely week. I'm going to take a little bit of a break away from MCOC because not much is happening, people. It's a little bit stale. And I'll see you all very soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.